Good afternoon, students. Today we will continue to read from the chapter The Final Victory by Khalid Hosseini from page 119 onwards. But before doing that, let's have a recap of what we learnt earlier. Amir lived with his father in Afghanistan. He called his father Baba. They had a servant Ali and he had a son named Hassan. Ali and Hassan were Hazaras, that is, they came from an ethnic group. Now, Amir used to fly kites and Hassan would be his assistant, holding the spool and feed the line for him and become a kite runner when Amir won over a kite when he cut it down. Hassan was quick to run and get the drifting kite before others could reach the spot. Then one day the kite flying tournament began. Hundreds of people gathered on snow-covered streets and rooftops to watch the game. People were enjoying the day, reclining on rooftops, sipping tea and listening to music while watching the game. Hassan encouraged Amir to begin the game of kite flying when he saw him a little hesitant. Children, we had read the story so far till page 118. So today we begin from page 119 onwards. So let's read from the story that's further given over here. But before that, the main characters: Baba, Amir, the son; Ali, the servant; Hassan, his only child, and born with a cleft palate. So you can see the kite running, how they do go about, and what kite flying is. So we come on to the page 119 and we begin from here. Suddenly, I wanted to withdraw, pack it all in, go back home. What was I thinking? Why was I putting myself through this when I already knew the outcome? Now, here we see what was the reason that he had decided to participate, as he knew the outcome, the result, and he thought his Baba wouldn't be quite happy about, because Baba was on the roof watching me. I felt his glare on me like the heat of a blistering sun. So he says Baba was on the rooftop watching him. So Baba, his father, Amir's father, was watching him and he felt that he should prove himself in front of his father. So he felt his glare, his gaze on him. That gaze was, look at the comparison, that gaze was like the heat of a blistering, a very burning sun. This would be failure on a grand scale, even for me. So Amir felt that this could be, now he's going to have a big, losing him the game, and it would be a grand scale. The failure would be on a grand scale, even for him. So I'm not sure I want to fly a kite today. This is what he told Hassan. So Hassan is convincing him. No, it's a beautiful day, Hassan said. I shifted on my feet, tried to peel my gaze away from our rooftop. I don't know. Maybe we should go home. So Amir felt a little uncomfortable because of his father's gaze on him, and because that he is going to participate in the game in front of his father, who was watching him from the rooftop. So he said, I don't know, that maybe I'm not sure that I should participate. We should go home. And he told him that, come on, let's go home. Then he stepped towards me and in a low voice said something that scared me a little. So Hassan told something into his ear, went near him and told him something that scared Amir. Why did it scare Amir? Because he said something that had some kind of impression on him. So it scared him a little, frightened him a little. Now remember Amir Agha. Amir Agha is a Turkish word meaning commander, meaning lord. So he addresses himself as Amir Agha, and he says that there's no monster, just a beautiful day. How could I be such an open book to him? So Amir felt that he tells him that it's a beautiful day. And then he says, how could I be such an open book to him when half the time I had no idea what was milling around in his head? So Amir says that the fact that he comes and tells him that it's a beautiful day and there's no monster. So Amir felt that he could read his mind. So there was some kind of fear in his mind which he understood, or Hassan understood him, and he could never be able to, although he could predict, or Amir wondered how this boy knew his mind and it could read him so well. I was the one. So he says, I was the one who went to school, the one who could read, write. I was the smart one. So Amir says that he was the one who went to school, and Hassan never attended school. And he says, I was the smart one. He was the smarter one. Naturally, he was the one who went to school and he studied. He learnt. But Hassan never went to school. But Hassan couldn't read a first grade textbook itself. But still, he'd read me plenty of books. That was a little unsettling. So Amir says that it was unsettling, disturbing, worrisome for him, because even though he couldn't read books, he was able to do so, but also sort of comfortable to have someone who always knew what you wanted. So he says that even though he knew that he could not read books, but it was rather comfortable to know and he was relaxed to know that someone was there always, who and whatever you needed, he was there to provide you with. So Hassan was very much caring and loving and adored Amir. So this feeling made him feel less jealous and feel better, and he answered back, no monster, I said, feeling a little better to my own surprise. So he repeated, no monster. Yes, I know there's no monster, but he felt a little better and was surprised at his own reaction. So he smiled, no monster. And Hassan repeated, no monster. Are you sure? So Amir asked him, are you sure there's no monster? He closed his eyes, nodded, and saying that, convincing him that there was no monster, so he could begin the game. I looked to the kids scampering down the street, flinging snowballs. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? So Amir looked towards the kids who were jumping, running across down the street, flinging snowballs on each other, throwing snowballs at each other. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? So he saw them doing that, and he feels that it was a beautiful day. So we'll end it up here. Thank you. And in the next video, we'll continue.